Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today's is just going to be a very relaxed video. So just tune in just for the tranquil words and just kind of a little bit of a drawing session. It's just really just a relaxed vibe. Maybe some talking points I'll get into, but it's really just a relaxed vibe. Gonna just kind of do a little just like I said, it's really just for the audio. You guys could just tune in and listen, but in front of us, I'm just gonna be drawing a little something here. Like I said, it's just a tranquil vibe. Using some of these color pencils. These color pencils are cheap, so I'm going to tell you guys, if you ever have to buy color pencils, do not really buy them from the dollar store or like a $5 and below or something like that. They're all right for a budget, but I feel like the colors, they aren't that great as far as coming off of the, onto the paper, off of the pencil and onto the paper. I'm going to have some moments where I'm twisting this sideways, but that's just because it's easier for me to do this while I'm behind the camera. So I hope you guys are doing okay right now. Life is going okay. Put in the comments if you guys got anything going on right now. Anything going on in life. Anything you guys want to talk about. One thing a lot of people don't maybe not have realized when it comes to channels, that the idea of the channel was supposed to be, as always, promoting the idea of self-help and improvement and whatnot, but really wanted to be where you guys are able to just kind of really drop topics in and we discuss anything. It doesn't matter what it is. If it's from life stuff, financial stuff, collecting, maybe you have a hobby and you want to speak on that hobby. It doesn't really matter what it is. But that is what we were kind of aiming for. So feel free to drop in the comments anything you guys want to get into. Now I'm just making a little nature kind of setup here. Trees. I used to do this back in the days, and it's always like a fun thing for me to do because it's simple, yet it looks nice. But it goes into the idea of growth and building, or at least how I'm going to relate it here. As we build our little forest setup, it's like you plant the seeds into your life and watching things grow. That is pretty much life in a nutshell. Let me speed this along a little bit. I'm getting into the details that I normally would take later on to do when I'm bringing them up a notch. And I should keep them in the place that I usually do them, which is after I draw my little tree setups. I drew something like this recently, and I did autumn colors in the leaves, so I just kind of felt like doing something like this again. I thought it would be fun while we just have this kind of relaxed vibe moment. I kind of feel like it's almost like the painter guy. I don't even know his name, but the one with the afro. I'm not that skilled though. But yeah, so like I was saying, as far as just growth, kind of like what we're doing here is almost a symbolism of what each person has to do inside their life. Plant the seeds and let it grow. And as we put together this drawing here, is the same way you would slowly watch the seeds that you plant develop. If you hear some scratching sounds in the background, that's because there's a birds that got a nest right outside of my window, right underneath my air condition. So I've never seen them before, but I hear them all the time. So I know that they are back there doing their thing. But Yeah, so like I said before, the process of growth, the plan that you have set for yourself, and indeed, you must make a plan for yourself. You cannot just go through things randomly in life. And the thing about it is, we think when we're young that we can, or at least there's sometimes we don't have anybody to advise us that we should be planning or how to plan, what to plan. It's interesting. I seen not that this was inspired for this, but I seen recently, I was watching a video on photography, and someone was just kind of talking about the camera review, which I recently posted up a video about photography stuff, that being one of my major hobbies, though I've been out of it for a bit. And the person in it was just ranting about the photography, but also felt like almost incorporating life a little bit. Well, there are two different videos like that I was watching. But anyway, that's what we do on this channel. So that's not foreign to this or thought of because of that. But it just kind of reminded me of that just now. But as I was saying, a lot of us may not have somebody who's telling us the plans, the plans that we have to make for ourselves. But we do have to have a plan. And a lot of times, too, it's one of those F around and find out type of things where sometime in life, you just get to that place where things get heavy and then you're like, well, now I need to have a plan. And that's usually how life goes. But it kind of sucks when you have to be reactive. Now, some people work better under pressure. But at the same time, it would be nice if everybody had somebody to tell them, hey, this is a general layout. This is a general plan. And this is kind of what you should be, aiming towards. So, yeah. That's different. I never tried something like that before, and I don't want to get too detailed on it in case it doesn't look good, but a little dip inside the area. I'm no professional drawer or anything like that, but yeah. Probably one of the only things that I think I can draw pretty well. But yeah, so as I was saying, definitely you have to put together a plan for yourself. And that's kind of what this channel is for. So I guess you could say that if no one else is giving you a plan in advance, you can take that from here, from this channel in general, not specifying this video per se. But definitely. And as we go over into the channel, like I said, the core elements that I started off with on the channel that I'm recently been refreshing, which is personal growth, social growth, and money management. Which I haven't got to the refresh of money management yet. But I've done plenty of older videos, so you guys would have seen those if you guys are a fan of the channels. For my near 500 subscribers, which I have on the channel, and then thank you very much and appreciate that. And we'll do a little celebration video when we get there for the 500 subscribers. But for those, you guys already know that that's been the messages that's been put out there for a minute already, along with a few other things like accessories, multi-tools, which kind of fall into everyday carry stuff, wallets, things of that sort, or at least the framework of saying these are things that you should have. Some of them, not everything. I'm not saying multi-tools, but wallets, of course. Everyone should be having a wallet on hand. You probably hear the birds now. They're right outside of the window. But as I was getting at, so those are a few concepts, those three that I kind of really base the backbone of the initiation of this channel for a guidance if you guys don't have it. And as I referenced that in some of the other videos, you can check back at those videos. And I even had referenced a book that I created that that also has those same concepts inside of them. So yeah, you can see that it's slowly coming along. And I'm gonna grab some colors that I think are autumn colors. I did something like this recently, so I grabbed a couple colors before. They should be at the top of that pile of colors, but not all, to be honest with you, not all of them come out great, but at the finished product should look still pretty nice. And here we're just doing the leaves, but then later on we're gonna color these leaves in. It's not gonna be super accurate because of the scale and the size of things, but it's just to give a little bit of color where the branches, where the leaves are. And run a little bit of brown down the center. But, so yeah, definitely you guys need to come up with a plan for yourself. And it all depends on the age that you are, of when you're going to implement certain things and how crucial certain things are. So if you're like 20 years old, 20 to 23 years old, it's important to start to give you a head start, but it's less crucial. Not to say pass it up and don't be responsible and do what you got to do, because it will benefit you later on in life, especially with your finances. All of them are important, because then if you are gaining your personal growth and your social growth, your social understanding of things, that gives you a huge head start. But my point I was going to get at is that later on in life, you don't have as much time to waste. So at that point, you really do have to jump on it. And like I said, come up with a plan. Now, a big factor, like I said before, is what you're going through. Now, if somebody is going through hardship, not to specify anything, but any kind of really major hardship, I don't mean like, you know, something minor, but if you got a major hardship going on, health problems, medical bills, you know, maybe you're about to get laid off, maybe you got laid off, maybe you are going through a divorce, maybe you have child care issues, child care in that, you know, you can't afford to take care of your kids or whatever the case is. I don't know. Fill in the blank, any kind of thing. You know, a lot of times these become the motivators that push you harder, but it's not good to have to be in those situations by the time you realize, now I got to start moving, you know, I got to start figuring it out. So put together a plan early to be set, especially financially. But the other things are just as important too, because I could go and tell you that they're not. People could tell you that they're not, but a lot of people will tell you that those things are not important. The personal growth and social growth. Those people usually know those things. They've mastered them or are well adapted to them. So they don't think they're as important as finances. That's not true. I've literally seen people who have no finances with the gift of gab be able to have others provide them with the resources. Not that they're trying to use them, but give them the opportunities to get ahead, or even give them access to some of their luxury goods, just because it's like that person has the personality and the gift of gab to achieve that. Let's see. All right, you guys, I'm going to conclude the video at this point. I want a reference to say that I'm sorry that now you see that the color came in, and I hate that I accidentally stopped recording, or something may have went wrong with my camera as far as the continuous recording, and I continued the rest of the video of the drawing without. So I hate that I wasn't able to to show that part and all the things I was talking about, but I really wanted you guys to be able to see the drawing as I was doing it. So even though it's not done, we're going to do another part 2 where we continue on from this point. But I do want to just reference then that the colors that I did, they actually started coming out decent, better than what I thought. And I think a big part of that was because this light coming in here on here, I hope you guys can see this relatively well, so the colors started coming out actually on here pretty decently, whereas before I was saying that it was having trouble. But I realized that as far as the quality of the pencils and whatnot, what I realized was that when I used to write on these, or my kids were using them on, I bought them for my kids for a drawing pad that I had. The drawing pad being so thick, when you, it's like this thick, when you're writing on it or drawing on it with the colored pencils, and you don't have a hard surface underneath it, it kind of pushes into the rest of the book. Like it almost becomes a cushion, all the other pages, and it seems to not let the pencils stick as well. When you're writing on a hard surface, it does tend to stick a lot better. I'm still not going to say they're best quality pencils, colored pencils, but they do a decent job when you're writing on a harder surface. So I just want to make note of that. But anyway, once again, I apologize that the video got cut. I had said a few different things that I really enjoyed, and also when I was going into the coloring of these things, I really enjoyed speaking on those points. So I'm sorry that I ended up not being able to record into that. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoy the video, and we'll stay tuned for the second part of this, as we're just going to go further on with a little bit more of just a comfortable, relaxed setting and a little bit of a rant on just random different topics. All right, you guys, as always, like, share, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.